And welcome to another episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast, Thanksgiving Eve edition. I'm your host, Noah Love, and today this is going to be the first of two videos. We are going to be, in this video, talking about my NFL Week 12 takeaways, and we are also going to be previewing the three major Thanksgiving games. Cowboys, Chiefs, Lions, Packers, and Ravens, Bengals. We got a lot to get into with this one. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. I usually don't I usually don't take a lot of time on the Thursday night football games, but I know it's been almost a week, but I just have to with this game. The Texans beat the Bills 23-19. The Houston Texans defense, phenomenal. You can't get any better than what they did. They were absolutely phenomenal in this football game. They it was They were great. They're the reason they won this game. The Bills fall 7-4, Houston 6-5, and now the AFC wildcard picture getting cozy. Look, Davis Mills, man's had a 22 QBR. He did not uh throw. He had 153. The one thing is he didn't throw any interceptions. Okay, Houston, the offense, they got set up a couple times. Fine, one away. First half was good, mainly second quarter. The third and fourth quarters, they did not do anything. Really, they didn't do anything. Uh, I thought Buffalo's defense was going to be the issue throughout the whole entire game. It was not. They were good in the second half. And you're talking about a Houston team now, ladies and gentlemen, that ever since they're 0-3, they're 6-2 in their last eight. They've won three in a row without Davis Mills. They go to Indianapolis this Sunday with an opportunity to potentially get within a game of the AFC South. That's what they have the chance to do. So, Houston here, things get interesting. They get Stroud back, and we'll see where they go. I'm very impressed, and honestly, this would be 4 wins in a row if Stroud doesn't get hurt against Denver. You can make that argument. Or if they just hold on to the lead. Not even the defense plays better in the fourth quarter. But the defense this year has just been outstanding. Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, they got after Josh Allen. I mean, you have to think about this. Josh Allen got sacked in this game 8 times. He got sacked 8 times. I mean, Will Anderson, they just kept pursuing, coming. They just kept pursuing. And now there is a legitimate chance that you could get three AFC South teams into the playoffs. Who will win the division? I, I I'm probably still gonna lean Indy, but Jacksonville we'll see. And then obviously Houston. Look, great win for Houston, and it's a win that was much needed. Now, let's go Buffalo here. Buffalo loses on the road to Davis Mills. This game just pretty much, anything can happen in the playoffs, but it almost confirmed to me that they aren't going to win a Super Bowl or a championship. And maybe they could find something. I don't know, but just in my opinion, like they're 3 games down now. Like the division's over. They're gonna have to go on the road in the playoffs. By the way, they've never won a road playoff game under McDermott and Allen. So there's that. This team, Houston gave them issues. Their offensive line. I mean, I'm just gonna put it bluntly. They were in hell. They were in a blender. And you're watching it, and I'm watching this game, and I'm going, bro. Buffalo, as bad as they played offensively, they still have a chance to steal this. And Joe Brady deserves some culpability. Again, you ran the ball well in this football game. You did. Cook had over 100. You ran the ball very well. He averaged 6.8 yards per carry at that 45-yard run. Why did you only run it? Why did you only run it 17 times? Is the big question I have for Joe Brady. Why did you only do that? Look, I believe in this game. If Gabe Davis gets that foot down on that final drive, and they're at like the 2, we're talking about Buffalo winning the game. Also, the 4th and 27, that was the hook and ladder. I don't know what D'Amico Ryans was doing. It wasn't even like, they were playing the sticks. They were so far back. I guess maybe they thought they were going Hail Mary. I don't know. It was a debacle. Josh Allen got that 2 times. I'm just like you don't see that. Here's their issue. Shakir, good game, 8 for 110. Their second leader wide receiver was Ty Johnson. He had 3 catches for 45 yards. That's not going to get it done. I'm looking at Buffalo, and I'm just saying to myself, how are they going? They can't get separation against man-to-man coverage. The only play, 90% of the time, the running mesh with the crossing runs, the running mesh a lot. I don't know how many times they called it, but they called mesh a lot. We're running mesh because we can't get open against man-to-man coverage. Our offensive line is pretty good, but against Houston they struggle, so that's an issue. Our quarterback is forcing everything. Last year we credited him saying, he's doing a great job of not turning the ball over. Now he's forcing things and turning the football over. Our defense, we're hit and miss on our pass rush. Our back end, look, Cole Bishop has been playing awesome. But outside of that, you ain't got much. Hairston has been, but he's a rookie. He's been okay. I mean, the roster it doesn't feel like a Super Bowl roster to me. He, I think the story of the game to me is Houston. That's really what it comes down to, I think, and that defense and how if they get in, they get the right matchup, they can knock some people off because that defense is real. Okay, let's go now to the Sunday slate. Uh, Look, Seattle and Tennessee. Look, Tennessee tried to make a comeback. Seattle won 30-24. Seattle, they got up early and then they kind of cruised the rest of the way. Not much to talk about there. Baltimore and the Jets. I actually do want to touch on this a little bit because Baltimore has won 5 straight and they are now on top of the AFC North at 6-5. And we'll get into the Steelers actually right after this. We'll segue to that. But something's off about Baltimore. Like, even in this game, okay, yeah, in the third quarter, Baltimore offensively looked good, but they struggled against Cleveland. They had to pull out a miracle there. And in this game, they struggled for 4 quarters. Look, Tyrod Taylor was okay. He was efficient. He was okay at the one bad pick. Brees Hall at the one bad fumble where it's just like you can't do it. From a defensive standpoint, New York, I mean, look, they shut Henry down. I mean, Henry, yeah, he had 2 touchdowns, but he only averaged 3 yards a carry. And Lamar has just been, he was just at. And ever since he's came back, it's kind of just been at. I mean, he's been good, obviously. I think the defense has been really carrying the offense since he got back. I think the defense ever since the week, I think I want to say week 7 they played the Bears. Bears last loss. They've been great. I really do truly believe that they've been great. So look, I'm not talking about the Jets. The Jets, we'll talk about them. Come look, they're looking at mock drafts. We know this, but I'm more of concerned of the Ravens because yes, you've won 5 in a row, but if you look at who they played in those 5 games, you'll go, it makes sense. So look, I don't know. Baltimore, they're now on top of the AFC North. I will talk about the Bengals game because Burrow does return. We'll talk about that later in the video. Segueing to the team that's now in second place in the North, the Bears beat the Steelers 31-28. This game, higher scoring than I really thought it would be. I put in my notes for this games, I said the Bears defense made game changing plays. And they did. The Bears defense forcing takeaways. I know they're not great in terms of the scoring defense and the yards and all that. I know that the Steelers kind of ran it at will, 186 on the ground. I get that. And Mason Rudolph checked down Charlie there, is what he was, but in this game at least. But the Bears being able to force turnovers and get timely stops is the reason I think they're 8-3. I think whenever you've needed a play on that side of the ball, they've come up with it. Caleb Williams in this game, people are going to talk about his completion percentage. That's been a big thing. But he's 19 of 35, 239. He had 3 touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. And this is the key thing: no picks. Was only sacked 1 time. Did not turn the ball over any. That's big. That's big for Chicago. I thought Chicago offensively, I thought Caleb kind of he got Burden involved. Loveland's come on. Adunze only had 3 catches on 9 targets. I thought the Steelers defense did a good job there. Got DJ Moore involved. I thought just finding a way to win these games, even if it's ugly. Even if it's ugly, just finding a way to win. Bears didn't do that last year and couldn't do that last year. This year they're now doing that. And you gotta give them credit. You gotta give them credit. Steelers are now second place. Baltimore has walked you down. They've walked you down. Steelers have just been struggling. I don't know if the outcome is different with Rodgers on the field. I can't tell you that. I don't know that. What I am going to tell you is there are some positive things to take from this game from an offensive perspective. But look, they're 6-5. They're Jekyll and Hyde. Who knows? They may go out and beat Buffalo next week. Like, I don't know. You can't predict the Steelers. They're a frustrating team to watch. One week, the offense looks semi decent and the defense is rolling, and you think, okay, they can put it together. Then the next week, the defense looks bad, the offense looks bad, and then the next week, oh, the offense looks better, but the defense is still bad, and then the next week, the defense looks like gangbusters, but now the offense is still mid. Like, I don't know. Look, if you are the Steelers here, this is your remaining schedule. And I think 10-7, look, you're now outside the wild card hunt because of tiebreakers. Things get dicey here. Things get dicey. You're like one in yeah, things get dicey. You're what? Two in what are they? They're two in since they were 4-1. They're what now? 2-4 in their last 6. Not a good trend, but you've got the Bills. Then you're at Baltimore on December 7th. Then you got the Dolphins, and you're at the Lions, and you're at the Browns, and you got the Ravens again. So look, you could still go and win this division, but you had and I know it was early in the season, but you had a good, sizable lead, and you didn't take advantage of it. Again, I go back to that Thursday night against the Bengals. You had them. Your defense can't get any pressure on the quarterback. Uh, offensively, you look good, but it's the Bengals defense. So yeah, look, Pittsburgh's in trouble. Pittsburgh is in trouble. In my opinion, they're in some massive trouble here because Baltimore, again, they were 1-5, won 5 in a row. Even though I'm not sold on Baltimore, you still had that lead, and now we'll see. It's head to head in terms of the AFC North. Speaking of another team in the AFC North, let's go to Cincinnati as the Patriots survive 26-20 against the Bengals. If we're being honest about this football game, I don't think New England the past 2 weeks, I don't think they've played great. Like, I don't, I don't think he's played great. Flat, look, the reason the Bengals didn't win this game is because Flacco, that pick six he threw was horrendous. You can't throw that ball in the flat. If you're going to throw it late. The Patriots defense, I thought, did a really good job. An interesting thing to me was Chase Brown ran for over 100. Drake May was very efficient. I thought May played well, but there was a couple times where they got to the red zone. I know May threw that pick six. Which it was a bad ball. So I guess you could say the pick sixes kind of cancel each other out. Look, Hunter Henry had a big day. I think the one thing in this game that was crucial was, again, when they got to the red zone, there were times where you just got to punch it in and couldn't, especially late in the game. You get 3rd and goal and 4th and goal at the 1, can't punch it in. And then I'm looking at this game. They ran the ball okay. They had extensions of the run games with Demario Douglas. I think he had a sweep. I know Drake May, he kind of took off and ran, but Henderson, 18 carries for 66 yards. I still thought May was good in this game. Obviously outplayed Flacco. What's most impressive about the Patriots right now to me is they're 6-0 on the road. That means on the road, they have not lost. At home, they've lost 2 games. On the road, they have not. They are road dogs. It's almost what they're doing on the road right now. It almost reminds me of Seattle in the NFC. And I think even they may have a better record than Seattle in the NFC. Remember, Seattle on the road's great compared to at home. They're great. I know they had the one loss to the Rams on the road, but that's it. Outside of that, they've been great on the road, Seattle. So what the Patriots are doing right now with Vrabel and company, I thought they'd be maybe fringe playoff contender. I thought maybe they could get to 10-7. They're already gonna pass that. I didn't think they'd be this good, this quick. Shout out, man. Can this team win the Super Bowl? It's dicey. I could see a world where they do it. I could also see a world where they get bounced first round or their first game. So, yeah, we will see. We will see that great win by New England. Okay, now we get to Green Bay and Minnesota. Green Bay wins 23-6. Look, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this game. Green Bay played well defensively. Minnesota's got an issue. J.J. McCarthy, 9. It's not looking too good. It's not looking too good. He threw 2 interceptions. He was dink and dunk. Here's the issue that the Vikings have. I'm just going to be honest. It is an offensive problem. Their offensive line is not as good as I thought it'd be. It's struggling. That's one thing. The run game, struggling. And when your quarterback's struggling, that doesn't make it any easier. It's really bad. It's really bad. Look, this was a game that Minnesota, you just looked awful offensively. They're obviously not as good as last year, but defensively, I do feel like they've been good enough to win some of these games. Like even against Green Bay, like I do feel like at times they made some big stops and Minnesota just didn't do anything with it. Obviously, you had the muff punt that late to start the second half, and it's just like you can't do that. Price or not muff punt, but he catches it. Where actually no, he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna catch it. I'm gonna go block, and then it hits him in the foot, and obviously Green Bay recovers it. They score a touchdown. Basically, game over. Kind of was already, but you get the drift. I thought Jordan Love in this game, he was fine. He was they really ran the football. The big thing in this game was they got up early and they basically said, look, don't turn the ball over and we're going to win. Don't turn the ball over and we're going to win. And they didn't turn the ball over and they won. No Josh Jacobs in this one. We will see what happens on Thanksgiving. Will he be ready to play? Who knows? Is he still going to be out? I'm assuming short week. Emmanuel Wilson will probably get the call. But yeah, but let's get, speaking of that game on Thanksgiving, let's get to the Lions. The Lions at 7-4 or 7-4 now, as they again survived the Giants 34-27. I just gotta say a couple things about this football game. Giants, they fire Shane Bowen. Good riddance. I've been talking about him. He's not great. You know how I felt about Shane Bowen. Their defense has cost them multiple games, and it cost them this one. Lions got an issue, bruh. Let's just keep it real. They got an issue, and the issue is, look, if Jameer Gibbs doesn't turn into the second coming of Barry Sanders, they lose this game. Let's just be real about it. Gibbs was amazing, incredible in this game. He is the reason they won again. Over 200 yards just on the ground. It was a historic performance. That offensive line, is it good enough? I don't know. I don't trust it. That offensive line, it's not as good as last year. It's not as good as the year before. It's not even as good as the 9-8 year. Right now. I'm not saying it's a bad offensive line, but they are struggling. You look at this game, the Giants D line was getting after golf a little bit. You look at the Eagles game. The Eagles dominated them for 4 quarters. Now, a lot of offensive lines they do that too, but considering what Dallas did, and we'll get to them, offensive line, I thought they were pretty good. So yeah, look, Jameis had a touchdown. He had 2 touchdown passes, and he had a touchdown catch where he stiff arms the DB, and then puts the ball on the ground and like does the roll. It was incredible. Look, the Giants pulled out everything in their book from an offensive perspective. They did. It took in this game against a fired coach and a backup quarterback, all of the James. It took Jameer Gibbs going crazy, and it took Jake Bates barely sneaking it in from 59 to win at home. against the Giants in a game that you needed for your playoff hopes. And look, I picked the Lions at 12-5. I I thought the Lions just losing both coordinators, I thought they wouldn't be as good, and I'm still kind of on track here, but I'm looking at their schedule. 12-5. This schedule down the stretch. Packers tomorrow. Cowboys after that. Then we're at the Rams. And then we got the Steelers at home. We're at the Vikings. You should win. But honestly, you should have won the first time and the Vikings beat you, so who knows? And then you're at the Bears. The Lions, man, we'll preview their Thanksgiving bout, but man, Lions here really struggling from an offensive line perspective. Their defense was at it's kind of been up and down. I thought Kelvin Shepard has done a good job. Dan Campbell's the one calling plays on the offensive side. Again, that's why I'm worried. The defense, I'm not necessarily worried about the defense. I'm not necessarily worried about it. Offense, I'm worried about because there are times where it's just stagnant, and the defense is just fighting to keep them close, keep them close until they get going. Like in this game against the Giants, it was 10-0 early. They were stagnant, and in the second quarter they found something. They got something going. St. Brown had a big game, obviously Gibbs, and then even late in the game, you're thinking, oh my goodness, they're going to lose. And then again, Gibbs turns into the second coming of Barry Sanders. I'm going to say this because that's what happened. It was incredible. Jameer Gibbs is an incredible watch. This is the year. I know last year was him and Montgomery a lot, all that. This year, he has really taken that leap of, is he a top five back? I don't see how he's not right now. Jameer Gibbs, incredible performance. Now, let's get to the game of the day. Pretty much what it was. Chiefs and Colts, 23-20. The Chiefs come back down 20-9 to win. I put this in my notes as Arrowhead Magic and Mahomes Magic. In that fourth quarter, fourth quarter and overtime, Mahomes was incredible. But we have to be honest on this show, and we have to be honest on about this game. Colts blew this game. And you're saying, what do you mean by the Colts blew this game? And when I mean by the Colts, I mean Shane Steichen. Look, we have to be honest. The Colts defense, I thought, was good enough to win this game. When you have Patrick Mahomes, they got into the red zone. I think there might have been 6 red zone trips in the game. They held them to 5 field goals. Look, it was bend don't break. I get it. They held, and it's not like they were just going down the field, boom, 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 boom. There were some drives 3 and out. Oh, they get first down and they punt. Like the Colts offense had numerous opportunities in this game to put it away, and they just didn't do it. And part of the reason is because they did not get the ball to Jonathan Taylor. Look, I don't care if there's 8 in the box. You still have a commitment to run the ball. Also, even if you run it 3 times, each time it's turning clock. You're getting incompletions and you're stopping the clock. Again, the 4th and 4 late. They don't go for it. And look, I understand why they didn't go for it. I mean, what I got it. People are like, oh, well, why didn't they go for it? Because the offense had did nothing the whole fourth quarter. The offense did nothing. What, you thought they were going to get the 4th and 4? Shane was probably like, let's take the delay. And did a great and Sanchez did a great job. Sanchez, I will say this, I know he's a punter. He did his job all day long. He put the Chiefs in tough positions. On the first interception, live two on the Sanchez punted it, and it was a great punt, and it was a great coverage team. I thought the Colts, in terms of through 3 quarters, had won all 3 phases. In the fourth quarter and in overtime, the Chiefs won 2 phases. Special teams they didn't win. Offense and defense they won. And this was a game for the Chiefs. Great at home. They needed to find a way to win, and they did. And they did. Now, are the Colts still for real? Yeah. Look. People have to realize this still is the Chiefs. This still is Patrick Mahomes. This still is Andy Reid. This is the team, the reigning defending AFC champions. They had them at home. The Colts are still they're still trying to find their way to win. And what I mean by that is when you are a contender and you have not been here before, you have to learn how to win. The Chiefs already know how to win. The Chiefs know what they have to do to win. They know how to do that already. The Colts are still finding that. And so that's really what this game came down to. To me, also came down to Shane Steichen coached not to lose. He called plays not to lose. He says we throw the score, we run the win. Well, you were throwing the score and you didn't run the win. You were just throwing the ball all over the lot. Like I don't know what you were doing. The Chiefs controlled the time of possession in this game. Look, the Chiefs, I said this, if the Chiefs would have lost this game, I would have came on here and been like, the Chiefs lost because their inability to score in the red zone. That's if they would have lost this game. I thought the Chiefs defense did their job. The Chiefs defense did more than enough in this game. Look, Mahomes again was fantastic. Again, they ran 90. They Andy Reid ran the ball finally. I think it was 92 plays to 50. 92 plays to 50. That just can't happen. 92 plays to 50. That just can't happen. So if you are if you are the Indianapolis Colts, you just got to go back to the tape and you got to study it. And Shane, he puts it on himself saying he has to be better, which he does. If you're the Chiefs, this is a big win. My only question would be that turnaround because you're playing Dallas now tomorrow. And that game's going to be crazy again. We are going to get into that game. We are going to talk about that game in the review. So, yeah. The 4 o'clock window, look, Atlanta, New Orleans. Atlanta won 24-10. We're not wasting a lot of time on that. Good win for Atlanta to get off the snide. Cleveland and Vegas, I do want to talk about this game just for a couple seconds because the Browns, offensively, really good. I thought Shador played really well, and he is now the starter for the rest of the season. He's now the starter for it looks like for next week at least. I won't say the rest of the season, at least. Shador, I thought played well in this game. I thought he was very poised. I thought he really had control of the offense. I just thought he didn't make any huge mistakes. I thought he played well. To me, the story of the game really wasn't even Shador. It was the Browns defense. They sacked the Raiders and Geno Smith 10 times. The Raiders offensive line, no shot. No shot, sacked them 10 times. I'm sorry. If Geno's getting sacked 10 times, you've got no shot. They weren't able to keep him upright. So to me, that was really the real story in this game. I know a lot of people are talking about Shador. I think Shador played well, and that's why he's getting another shot. Also, in the locker room speech, Stefanski, you can just tell he doesn't like him. He's like, "We're getting one game ball." Oh, Shador, your first start. A Browns QB hasn't won their first start since like the '90s, but good job. Next, like you could just tell he does not want Shador to be playing. You can just tell. You just tell. And I don't know if Shador just rubs him the wrong way. I don't know, but that's just what I see when I look at it. Jackson. Now let's go on to Arizona, where Jacksonville survives in overtime, 27-24. Let's be real. Look, look. Jags won the game. It was their defense helped win the game. Trevor Lawrence was a disaster. And I really don't say that like, bro, like he was a disaster for many parts of this game. I mean, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. It it was bad, bro. I'm just gonna be honest. From an offense, he put them in a lot of bad situations. He lost a fumble, so 4 turnovers. He was a disaster. Arizona, the just the pain in one score games continues. Look, the Jacks sacked Brissett 6 times. They were really able to get after him in this game. The Jacks defense is the reason they won. Simple as that, and it's the reason they're 7-4. You cannot trust Trevor Lawrence. You just can't. You just cannot trust Trevor Lawrence in these big time games. I'm sorry, I don't trust him. In a game like this game was close because he turned the ball over 4 times. This year he's been hit or miss. And that's why honestly they're probably not leading the division because Lawrence been hit or miss. You go back to as far as week 2 in the Bengals game, missing some key throws. You go back Houston. The fourth quarter, the offense just crumbled. He did as well. Lawrence, he was. A lot of people want to like the Jags, but I don't think they take them seriously because of who's at quarterback, and that's just me looking at it, being honest. Now let's move to Dallas, where Dallas, the biggest comeback in their franchise history. That's actually a surprising statistic. Or Yeah, that's a surprising statistic. The Cowboys win 24-21. They out they outscored after the Eagles went up 21-0, they outscored them 24-0 to win the game. Let's just be honest about this game. Dak was incredible. 354, 2 touchdowns. He had the 1 pick. Schottenheimer out coach Sirianni. Look, God bless the Eagles defense. They tried their best in this game. They had that big goal line stop when it was tied at 21. I know Reed went down, and it was kind of a struggle after that. If you are the Eagles offense, and again, there's a talking point. Well, we scored 21. You cannot score touchdowns on your on your first 3 possessions of the game, or your first 3 drives, and in the next 8 get nothing, 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 nothing. You can't do it. Especially again, Dallas's defense kept it in striking distance enough for their offense to go make some plays. George Pickens was incredible. 9 targets, 9 catches, 146 and a touchdown. He was insane. He was incredible late in the game. CeeDee Lamb, 4 catches, 75 yards, touchdowns. Pickens, incredible in the game. In the game, CD Lamb, he had some drops where I'm just like, come on, dude. You gotta catch the ball, like, come on. And he's still having some trouble with the drops. I thought Williams, they ran it well. To me, a big play in the game was that special teams fumble they recovered late in the fourth. That was a big play. How about Dak on the last drive getting into Aubrey's field goal range, and then Aubrey puts it through the uprights. And this was a game Dallas needed to have if they wanted to have a shot at the playoff. And they got it. They got it. And the cat, look, this was a big time performance by Dak. National stage, know you need it. Down 21 nothing, nothing's going right. And Dak just, they keep playing and they keep finding a way. They found a way to win. Their season looked all but done against Arizona. Then that next day, you hear Quinnen Williams, Logan Wilson. Is it too little, too late? They're right in the thick of the playoff race. Now, if they beat Kansas City, they have a legit shot to run the table and get in. So yeah, that's big. Those Dak has some massive big boy throws, and Dallas wins 24-21. The Sunday night and Monday night games, I'm not gonna lie, they're boring. Rams with the blowout 34-7. Stafford's been on a heater. The Bucks just too injured. Baker has a shoulder. I don't know what the severity of it is. We'll see if he plays this week. If not, Teddy Bridgewater gets the start. San Francisco beats Carolina 20-9. San Fran again. I'm watching Bryce Young in this game, and I'm just going no. Like that throw when he's on the one, I put on my Instagram story like, why would you throw that? You just run it. Your one-on-one was a D tackle, man. Brock Purdy. The one thing I've noticed is he plays with such great anticipation, or he has. It seems like it's gone. Like though the two picks to JC Horn, he's just late. He's late. That's the thing. On the two picks, he's just late. With that JC Horn, it's just late. So yeah, he just late on it. Will look. We will look. That was that. Those were tough. We'll see with the Niners. Uh, they're 8-4. They have some an easier schedule until the last three games where I think it's like Seattle, the Bears, and the Colts, I think, is who they play. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's a big time win for That's a big time win for San Francisco and a team that they needed to beat in terms of the playoff picture. And it's a great win. Now, let's get to these Thanksgiving games. Green Bay at Detroit. The Lions are favored by 3. In the first matchup, the Packers dominated 27-13. They got a score late. It was a dominant victory. The Here is the question I pose at least for Detroit, or really for both teams in this football game. How are we going to protect Jordan Love, and how are we going to protect Jared Goff? That Packers offensive line, as of recent weeks, has not looked the greatest. We have to admit that. This game, to me, the winner of this game, if Detroit wins this game, the North is interesting because then Detroit's sitting there at 8-4. Chicago will see, and then obviously Green Bay, they're at 7-4-1. Bet the Bears could be 9-3 or 8-4. If the Packers win, I think Detroit's division chances are done, and their playoff chances are. So I think Detroit really, really needs this game, and both teams really need it. But I just think Detroit, it's at home. Thanksgiving, you need this game more. To me, they're who's gonna have more explosive plays, and which of those DNs is gonna make the game defining play? Is it going to be Parsons or Hutchinson? Who's gonna make that play? Also, will the Lions be able? Who will run the ball better? They both ran the ball really, really well in their past game. I know the Gibbs had over 200, and the Packers they had I think 150. Being able to run the football is going to be key in this game. I also think in the first matchup, Green Bay was able to get Detroit out of whatever they wanted to do, really make them feel uncomfortable. And that Packers offense was rolling because they played a lot of man to man. Packers have had some drops, a lot of drops this season. And also, and one more thing with this Packers and Lions game, obviously, I know Frank Ragnow has come out retirement. He's not going to be playing in this game, which I think that's going to be huge for Detroit when they get him back. But one more thing about this game in Green Bay, in terms of the drops. If you watch the Giants game, you know Jordan Love, ever since Tucker Kraft's injury, is under 200 yards per game throwing the football. That's an issue. That's a problem. And so for the Packers, obviously we already talked about running football will be a big element in this game, but for the Packers, who is going to step up? Is it going to be Dobbs? Is it going to be Watson? Like, who's going to make those big plays for them? I know who it's going to be for Detroit in terms of, I know Laporte is out right now, but you still have Gibbs. You have St. Brown had a big day against the Giants. You have uh, Montgomery still. You have Jameson Williams. So, with that being said, give me the Detroit Lions to win this football game in division battle. I just think they need it more than the Packers do. Give me the Lions to win this football game 24-20. Back-to-back Thanksgiving home wins stemming back to last year. I think the Lions get it done at home. Now, for the game that has the most excitement and probably will be the most viewed game in NFL history, Cowboys Chiefs. Cowboys 5-1 coming off back-to-back wins. Obviously, the thriller against the Eagles, Chiefs coming off the OT thriller win against the Colts. This is going to be a massive game. I think there are going to be keys to this game. One, will Andy Reid just continue to run the ball like he did last week? Will he use a similar game plan in chewing time possession, keeping the offense off the field? That's another thing. Also, in this football game, it's what's going to be interesting to me is how on third downs in the criticals, do they blitz Dak? Do they stay back? I don't think they will, because that 4-man pass rush. Does McDuffie get CD? And if he does, how are they going to guard Pickens? Are they going to bracket Pickens? Are they going to roll the coverage to his side? Pickens, and if they do, it's so hard to guard Dallas in Stelz's office, because their offensive line, it's young, but it's gotten better. Dak's playing the best ball of his life. Williams is running well. You have Ferguson in the middle as a security blanket. And then on the outside, you have Pickens. You have Lamb. Not to mention, Cavante Turbin is still a stud. So it's hard. It is very hard trying to guard Dallas. I also think what this football game is going to come down to is, look, the Eberflus is going to play some man to man. the man to man look against the Colts, there were some times where it's man to man coverage and Mahomes is trying to sit back there, make something happen, and either he gets sacked, has to throw the ball away, or takes off or whatever. To me, it'd be interesting because Bland, I don't think Diggs is back, but playing man to man coverage. I think Quinnen Williams is going to have to be a big factor in this game. Mahomes was sacked 4 times against the Colts. You are going, Quinnen Williams in the middle is going to have to make an impact. You're going to have to get pressure on Mahomes, and you are going, and it will be interesting to see again. Eberflus, the last time he played Mahomes, and I believe it was 2022. I don't believe he played. I did play him in Chicago, but he didn't have the talent. So when he had the talent on the defense side, well, actually, no, that was Gus Bradley. So never mind. Okay, about that. But it will be interesting to see because Eberflus sits back in zone. How is he going? Who's is he going to put on Kelsey? They are getting. I assume maybe Overshown gets that assignment, but you never know. There's just so many interesting parts of this game. But to me, it's going to be the two quarterbacks. Who will play better? Who will play better? To me, at home, obviously the Chiefs have been haven't been great on the road. Dallas has been great at home. I know they had the Arizona. They've been very good at home. Kansas City hasn't been good on the road. So we'll see what happens in terms of that. This is gonna be a shootout, I believe. And if it is a shootout, I love Dak. I think it's one of those games whoever gets the ball last goes down and wins it. But give me the Chiefs. They both need this game desperately. Give me the Chiefs to win this football game in a 35-30 thriller. Now, let's go to the last Thanksgiving game, Bengals and Ravens. Uh, Bengals, they're getting Burrow back. Baltimore 5-game winning streak. Look, this is going to be a tough challenge. Burrow's back, Chase back. They've ran the ball better. Obviously, Chase Brown. The Bengals O line when Flacco's playing at least played somewhat better. Look, the Bengals are 3-8, and they need this win. And Baltimore, they're trying to extend that division lead, obviously, because they have the lead up based off of a tiebreaker. Them and Baltimore have the same record. So we'll see what happens in terms of that. If Cincinnati wins, I know it's a long shot, but they pull within 2 games of the division. Now they'd have to win out. Like they'd have to act like they can't lose. But if the Cincinnati defense can play, just competent. They've been competent the last 2 weeks. That's all you ask for them is to be competent. If they can do that, I think they'll find a way to win. I don't trust how Lamar's played. They haven't played well. They've kind of escaped in some of these games. I believe they get got. Give me the Bengals on an upset on the road Thanksgiving night. Give me the Bengals to find a way to win this. 30, I say 34-27. I know Burrow hasn't been good against Lamar in his record, but I think this time may be a little bit different. All right, this has been this episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until the next time, see ya.